ISKCON founder Acharya Divinity founder Acharya Sri Prabhu, world Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Vishnu Pad Leela Prabhu's divine grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, text number 40. Idam Bhagavatam Nama. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam. Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam. Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi. Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi Nishresaya Lokasya. Nishresaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasti Ayanam Mahata. Dhanyam Swasti Ayanam Mahat. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi Nishresaya Lokasya धन्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महा
इदं भागवतं नाम इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्म भगवान् विश्वेशाय लोकस्य
धन्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महा इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्म संहितं उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेषाय लोकस्य धन्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महा इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्म संहितं उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेषाय लोकस्य धन्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महा idam this Bhagavatam book containing the narration of the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees, Nama of the name, Puranam supplementary to the Vedas, Brahma Sammitam incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna, Uttama Shloka of the personality of Godhead, Charitam activities, Chakara compiled, Bhagavan incarnation of the personality of Godhead, Rishihi Shri Vyasadeva, Nishresaya for the ultimate good, Lokasya of all people, Dhanyam fully successful, Swastyayanam all blissful, Mahat all perfect. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Kindly repeat the translation. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared that Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless sound representation of all Vedic knowledge and history. There are selected histories of great devotees who are in direct contact with the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna and is therefore non-different from him. Srimad Bhagavatam should be worshipped as respectfully as we worship the Lord. Therefore, we can derive the ultimate blessings of the Lord through its careful and patient study. As God is all light, all bliss, and all perfection, so also is Srimad Bhagavatam. We can have all the transcendental light of the Supreme Brahman, Sri Krishna, from the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, provided it is received through the medium of the transparent spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya's private secretary, Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami, advised all intending visitors who came to see the Lord at Puri to make a study of Bhagavatam from the person Bhagavatam. Person Bhagavatam is the self-realized bona fide spiritual master, and through him only can one understand the lessons of Bhagavatam in order to receive the desired result. One can derive from the study of the Bhagavatam all benefits that are possible to be derived from the personal presence of the Lord. It carries with it all the transcendental blessings of Lord Sri Krishna that we can expect from his personal contact. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this verse, it describes the transcendental position of this book, Srimad Bhagavatam. Idam Bhagavatam Nama. This book Bhagavatam, by the name, Nama means by the name, Bhagavatam. What is this? Puranam. It is filled with historical facts. Puranam means it is history. But the difference is, this is not a normal history. Normally we read, especially in India, if you find, so much of history the children have to read in their syllabus. Which king came, who ruled later on. So this is not a normal history. This is history of great devotees of the Lord. This is history of the different incarnations of the Lord who appeared in different times in this universe. So it is called Puranam. And what is the position of Srimad Bhagavatam? Brahma Samhitam. What is Brahma? What is the meaning of Brahma? Dear. Creator. No, that is different. That Brahma is different. Absolute truth. Just like Krishna was called by Arjuna as Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. So Krishna is absolute truth. Similarly, Brahma Samhitam, Samhitam, it is not Samhita. It is not that Brahma Samhita. Samhitam means which is non-different from the Supreme Lord, one with the Supreme Lord, equal with the Supreme Lord. That is the meaning of Samhitam. So this Bhagavat Purana is non-different from the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada translates as, it is a literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. There are many incarnations of the Supreme Lord. This is what we have darshan in the temple. This is called as Archa Vigraha incarnation of the Lord. The holy name we chant, it is called as Nama incarnation of the Lord. Sound incarnation, the Lord appearing in the form of a sound. So the Supreme Lord appearing in the form of a literature is Srimad Bhagavatam. The question was raised after the disappearance of the Supreme Lord. The whole material civilization, it was considered to be in darkness. So we all know that Krishna is called as Krishna hai Surya Sama, Maya hai Andhakar. Jahan hai Krishna, tahar nahi, Maya Radhikar. Krishna is like the sun. Ignorance is considered to be the darkness. So we all know that wherever there is sun, there is no darkness. Today looks like sun is there. It's come out nicely. So the moment sun comes out, fog and darkness, all of that disappears. So everyone was worried. All these great sages were all worried that after the Supreme Lord left this world, Dharmam kaha sharanam gataha. Dharma took shelter of whom? So there it is explained that after the disappearance of the Supreme Lord, Srimad Bhagavatam, it has risen like a transcendental sun, which will give direction to misguided people of this age of Kali. That means the Supreme Lord in this age of Kali Yuga, after his physical disappearance from this material world, because Krishna came 5,000 years back. So after the Lord wound off his Leela, the Supreme Lord is still present in the form of Bhagavatam. He took incarnation in the form of book Bhagavatam. Earlier, all these Vedic literatures were existing in the form of oral reception. There was no need of writing them down. There was no need of a literature like that. But for the age of Kali Yuga, Veda Vyasa compiled the Vedic literatures. And in his final maturity, he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Brahma Samhitam. It is the literary incarnation of the Lord. Just like the holy name is Nama incarnation, it is the sound representation of the Lord. This is literary incarnation. These are Vigraha incarnation of the Lord, of the form of the Lord. So there are varieties of incarnations of the Lord, and Srimad Bhagavatam is literary incarnation. That is what Prabhupada explains. So, what is the subject matter of this Bhagavatam? So we all know subject matter of the Vedas is Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Vishaya means subject. So what is the subject matter of Vedas? Traigunya. Three modes of material nature. So you will find some activities are describing Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda, because there are varieties of people. So for them, the Vedic literatures are giving some portions for people in ignorance, some people who are in Rajoguna, for them there is some portion. For people who are in Sattva-guna, there is some portion. So the subject matter of all the Vedas is Traigunya. But Bhagavatam subject matter is not Traigunya. It is Parama. Subject matter, it is said here, Uttama Shloka Charitam. The Supreme Lord is called Uttama Shloka. One who is glorified with the choicest of poetry. He is called as Uttama Shloka. Charitam, his activities, the activities of the pure devotees of the Lord who are in connection with the Supreme Lord, and the activities of the Supreme Lord, his varieties of incarnations, Narsimha, Vamana, all these different incarnations. So this is what Srimad Bhagavatam is. It talks about the activities of the Supreme Lord and everything in connection with the Supreme Lord. His devotees, his incarnations, all those things. Who compiled Srimad Bhagavatam? So that is also explained. Not some ordinary personality. That's how you find, this is the position of Srimad Bhagavatam. If somebody asks us how Bhagavatam is different from all other Vedas, correct? So we should understand these important points. What makes Bhagavatam completely different from all other literatures? So there we should explain to the people. First is, this Bhagavatam, it is Brahma Samhitam. It is incarnation of the Supreme Lord. It is literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Second, we can tell to people that generally the subject matter of the Vedic literature is dealing with the three modes of material nature. There are different sections for different class of people according to their nature. But Bhagavatam is not like that. What is the subject matter in Bhagavatam? It is only describing about the activities of the Supreme Lord and his pure devotees. Uttama Shloka Charitam. And who has compiled Srimad Bhagavatam? It is compiled in the maturity by Vedavyasa, who is also an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So this is a literature incarnation, and he is a literary incarnation. This Bhagavatam is a literature incarnation, and he is a literary, means one who knows the knowledge. So it is compiled by Chakara Bhagavan Rishi. That is why it is called here Bhagavan. Veda Vyasa is not an ordinary personality. Bhagavatam is compiled by Veda Vyasa. Then, if you see, you read the Vedas, what is the result you will derive from the Vedas? Many varieties of material results you may derive from the Vedas. If you perform Karma Kanda portion, what is the result you will derive? Anyone? Some pious activities you will gain, pious credits you will get. Where will you go? Swarga Loka. After your pious credits are over, what will happen? Come back to this Mritya Loka. Correct? What is that shloka in Bhagavad Gita? Shirne Punya Mritya Lokam Vishanti. You will fall down. Another portion is there. Suppose you worship impersonal Brahman. Jnanis worship impersonal Brahman. They merge into Brahma Jyoti. Is it permanent? Where does it say? In Bhagavatam it is not permanent. Ahruya krachrena. Even though they climb with varieties of austerities, they climb to the stage, Ahruya krachrena. Parampadam, even though they climb to the highest transcendental platform of Brahmajyoti, Patanti Adaha, they fall down. Why? Anadarat Yushmad Angrayaha. They do not take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So even impersonalists, they also have no permanent benefit. They also come down to this material world once again. But Bhagavatam, if somebody studies properly, what will be the benefit is explained. So there it says, there are 4 very important benefits one gets if one studies Bhagavatam properly. One is Nishresaya Lokasya. This Bhagavatam will give the ultimate benefit to the person. Shreya and Preya are 2 different things. Preyas means something which is immediately benefiting, but it is not meant for ultimate benefit. Just like Prabhupada gives an example. Children, they want to play the whole day. That is called Preya. They are not interested in studying. But the parents, understanding their long time good, they put them into school, even though the children do not like to go to school. If you leave them whole day, they can play. So this is called as Preya. So all the other benefits what we derive by even reading all other Vedic literature, they're all temporary benefits. Elevation to heavenly planets, or material prosperity, Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shribhi. One may get good birth in a very good family. Aishwarya, lot of opulence. Shruta, good education. Shuklambara Prabhu was telling that all top class people of India, they come here. Top IITians and all, they come to America. So, good learning, material learning, all these are results of different kinds of pious activities one may perform. They're all temporary. They cannot give the ultimate benefit to the living entity. Nothing comes for the soul. All these benefits are related to this material body, which will perish one day. So they are not called as Shreya. But if one studies Bhagavatam, he will derive the ultimate benefit of his life. What is the ultimate benefit? Love of Godhead. He will go back to Godhead, to his original position. Everyone in this material world is actually running behind happiness. Everyone, in all spheres of life, whether it is animals, whether it is human being, everyone is running after happiness. But people have no idea what is the meaning of real happiness. And that's how we find that in spite of all kinds of material education, in spite of all kinds of material prosperity, people are not satisfied, they're not happy. So, Bhagavatam can give the result wherein one becomes situated in his original position of Sat, Chit and Ananda. He will realize his eternal position. He will understand that actually in the material world, our all suffering is due to ignorance, but in spiritual world we are filled with knowledge in our original Swarupa. And we derive transcendental happiness in relationship with the Supreme Lord. So this is another benefit what one can derive from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is Nishresaya Lokasya. For every living entity, if one can give them the Srimad Bhagavatam, this knowledge, if people become aware, they can derive their ultimate benefit. Then second, Dhanyam, all success. Swasti Ayanam. Swasti we all understand it is auspiciousness and all blissfulness. So by studying Bhagavatam, one derives all kinds of benefit of being eternally happy. Anyone remembers the shloka where it says that Srimad Bhagavatam can uproot the threefold miseries of life? If one studies Bhagavatam properly, it can uproot the threefold miseries of life. The threefold miseries everyone is suffering. Correct? What are the threefold miseries? Adhyatmik, Adhibhautik, Adhidevik. Correct? One or the other, every living entity is suffering. Imagine if just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, one can uproot all the miserable conditions of material life, how much our life becomes auspicious. All our inauspiciousness is because of the miserable conditions of our life. Whenever there is a problem in our life, that is why we say that it is very inauspicious. When good things comes in our life, what do we say? It is very auspicious. So, how Bhagavatam makes our life auspicious? Have you ever thought about this? We always say, we just take it for granted. अरे भागवतम में लिखा है, भागवतम पढ़ोगे तो तुम्हारा जीवन शुभता से भर जाएगा. Your life will be filled with auspiciousness. Correct? But how exactly it makes our life auspicious? Have you ever wondered? So then we should understand our life is inauspicious because of the miseries we are undergoing. That is why our life is inauspicious. So if by reading Bhagavatam, threefold miseries are uprooted. Tapatryo unamulanam shivadam. Your life will become auspicious. The moment threefold miseries are gone, your life becomes auspicious. That is what Srimad Bhagavatam is. And then Mahat, all perfect. By karma you cannot become all perfect. Still there is lacking. By jnana you cannot become all perfect. Still something is lacking. By yoga you cannot become all perfect. Still something is lacking. But by bhakti, devotional service, as given in Srimad Bhagavatam, one can become all perfect. So, the result is these four things one can achieve. Let me see if somebody can quickly summarize the four things by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. If someone understands Srimad Bhagavatam. Nishresaya lokasya. What does it mean? Yes. So it will give the ultimate benefit, not to one or two. It will give ultimate benefit to all living entities. Second, dhanyam. What does it mean? All successful. Correct? Then, swasti ayanam. Our life becomes completely auspicious, filled with happiness. Miserable conditions of life do not allow us to be happy in this material world. See, Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example about what is happiness of this material world. It is dukkha nivrati. There are only two things which living entities are trying. Sukham apnoti and dukkha nivrati. Everyone is trying to become happy and everyone is trying to be rid of dukkha. But no one understands that in this material world, there is no sukha. What is considered to be happiness is only removal of dukkha. Dukkha is removed and you feel very happy. No positive happiness. Sometimes I give this example, my own example, that once when I was a child, that was when I was in Assam, in our school, there was a distribution of some malaria tablets. So they had distributed malaria tablets and everybody had to take, so I also took. And it had reaction with my body. I got dysenteries. Diarrhea it is called. All the water of the body goes away. So somehow, neither I realized nor my parents realized. And one day happened, 2 days happened, I still went to the school. And one day I fainted on the ground. because so weakness. So immediately ambulance came, and the doctor there told my parents that very sorry, but we cannot say what is going to happen. And I was taken immediately to another hospital. And so there, for 14 days, I was bedridden, on the bed. Everything, eating, sleeping, everything on the bed. You can imagine what kind of, you cannot move out of the room and you are just on the bed, practically. So I remember that after 15 days, practically it took me around 20 days to come out of the hospital. When I came out, the world looked completely new. So much relief, so much of this thing. Because imagine you're confined to a bed and it looks like, you have achieved everything in the world. But how long that happiness lasts? One day I can be jumping, oh, I am out of the hospital. I can be very happy. 2 days I can be happy. Right? Suppose, am I happy today? So many years back, I was on bed for 14 days. I should be very happy today. I am now dealing with so many other problems. One problem is gone. The moment one problem goes, we become happy. Then we are surrounded by another problem. Then we are working hard to get rid of that problem. That problem goes, again we feel happy. This is how the material world is. Continuously, dukkha nivrati. We are just working to be relieved from distress. So cold outside, we are working hard how we can be comfortable. And then we feel happy. Wow, fantastic, nice. Isn't it? You can go and ask anybody. Somebody is admitted in the hospital. After 2-3 days, you go and ask him, how are you? His one leg is hanging on this thing and bandage is there. I am fine today. What you are fine today? You are lying in the hospital bed, you are bandaged and everything. Relatively, he is little fine and he says, I am fine today. Isn't it? Even my own father, recently, he was operated. He had some problem of, he was not able to pass urine. There is some gland which grows in the old age, and then they are not able to, properly pass urine. So suddenly, my mother was explaining to me, I had gone to Delhi that time. So suddenly, one day, when he got this pain, unbearable pain in the night, whole night he was not able to sleep. So he thought for a moment that life is gone. My mother is explaining all this to me. And that time my father is calling my mother and telling, Dekho, checkbook idhar rakha hai. I kept the checkbook here. I have kept some money here. Take care. You see how life is miserable. Actually, whole life we simply deal with somehow or other to get rid of miseries of life. Either we are fighting with cold, we are fighting with nature, we are fighting with neighbors, employees, and recession. Practically whole life goes in that. Little recession is over, you get a better job, you are happy. This is what we perceive to be happiness, isn't it? The example given in the Vedic literature is, what is the happiness of this material world? The example is given criminal in the Vedic times, they used to be dunked in the water with their hairs. You know how the punishment used to be given? They will put him in water, catching their hairs. And when he's unable to survive, just waiting for a breath, for one moment he's taken out. You can imagine what kind of relief that person gets. Just going to die, and just you relieve him from that water, he feels his life has come back. But the punishment was so, after a moment of relief, he is again put in the water. This is how material happiness is. Another example Prabhupada gives is, you are carrying a load on your head, and after some time your neck is paining, huge load. And then what do? To get relief, you shift the load to your shoulders, and you feel, very relieved. But you do not know that after some time your shoulder will start paining, and you shift that load to another shoulder. This is material happiness. Keep on shifting the dukkha, and we are thinking that actually we are happy. So there is no real happiness. But Bhagavatam is promising. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam, this one book, Tapatrayo Unamoolanam, all your miserable condition of life, everything will be vanquished. So who will not read? If one can understand that I am struggling so hard in this material world with threefold miseries, who will not like to read? If he understands that by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, I can uproot. Unamoolanam means from root it will be thrown out. All kinds of miserable conditions of life. This is the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, further it explains, Prabhupada in the purport is saying, this is Amalam Puranam. Amalam means it has no mala. It is completely pure. So yesterday we were discussing about how people in this material world, even though they are religious, they have no understanding of what is pure. People are religious, there is no doubt. People come to the temple, they pray to the Lord. But they do not understand what is purity in life. So, we were saying that general conception in the world is dharma is meant for people's conception. Dharma is meant for artha, correct? For economic development. Artha is meant for kama. And kama, if you don't get satisfied, people try for moksha, correct? So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Bhagavatam is a revolution. It's a revolution. I'll just read one verse where it says what dharma is meant for, what artha is meant for. Bhagavatam is explaining dharma is not meant for artha. And if you get artha, if you have money, that is not meant for satisfying your material desires. Artha is not meant for kama. And kama is not meant for enjoying this material world. It's very beautiful. So, there it says, dharmasya hi apavargasya. Dharma is meant for, what is the meaning of apavarga? You should place something which can hold this book, it slips down. Some this thing. Dharma is meant for apavarga. It is meant for liberation from this material world. Dharma is not meant for economic development. You know, very beautifully, Vedic literatures describe what is apavarga. In Sanskrit, there is just like ka, kha, ga, gha, correct? Then pa, pha, ba, bha. So it is called ka varga, pa varga, like the different vargas it is called. Around 5 in each. So pa varga is called material existence. If you want to explain to people what is the meaning of material existence, you can tell it is pa varga. So then they will question you, what is that pa varga you are saying? So then you can tell them, pa varga means pa, pha, ba and bha. Pa, pha, ba, bha. This is material existence. What is it? Pa means parishram. One works hard like a donkey in this material world. Parishrama. Pha means he works so hard that there is foam in his mouth. Phena. Pa means parishram. Pha means phena. Phena is, in English, it is translated as foam. Probably may not be here, but in India, if you see, when a bull is taking belgadi, when they are beaten and he's running, there is foam in his mouth. Or when a horse is running very hard, there will be foam in his mouth. That is the result of hard work. So people are working like donkeys in this material world, so much so that there is foam in their mouth. Phena. Pa, pha. But in spite of that, whatever we do in this material world, it is vyartha. Vyartha means it is waste. So pa, pha, pa is for parishram, pha is for phena, va is for vyartha. And in spite of working so hard and everything, everybody's life is still filled with fear. Padam, padam, yad vipada. When I was taking class in Milpitas, common problem is layoff. All devotees were expressing. We had some skit plays, we had something. Practically one or other skit was about layoff. People are so afraid, in spite of having so much of knowledge, when recession will happen and when my company will throw me out. See, where are we free from fear? Knowledge actually means one should become free from fear. That is the meaning of knowledge. Ignorance means we should be in fear. Correct? Suppose it is all dark, then you will be fearful. When everything is lighted up, where is the question of fear? So when our life is in darkness, then there is fear, when there is no real knowledge. When our life has become lighted with knowledge, fear will disappear. No fear. So, bha means bhaya. In spite of so much of material advancement, there is always bhaya. And finally, ma, mrityu. So you do parishram, you foam, it's all waste, everything will be finished. And finally, you are also gone. You have built one big building, you have built some big empire. Britishers had built huge empire. It was said, British, their sun never sets. Where is that British empire today? Prabhupada used to say, France is there, where is Mr. Napoleon? So we will be finished. So this is called Pavarga. Bhagavatam means Apavarga. That is what it is saying. Dharma is meant for denying this Pavarga, negating this Pavarga. You will come out of this material existence. You will be liberated from this. Dharma is actually meant for that. See, what a revolution. People are thinking Dharma is meant for Artha. Bhagavatam is saying, no, Dharma is not meant for Artha. Dharma is meant for Apavarga, to be liberated from this world. Next it says, so you will say, but whatever it is, I have performed some Dharma and I have gained some Artha. Somehow or other material prosperity has come, which is a fact. If you perform Dharma, you get Punya. And if you have Punya, you will get material prosperity. There is no doubt about it. So, then it is saying, Dharmasya hi apavargasya na artha arthaya upakalpate. Dharma should never be performed for artha, not for economic development. Then it says, Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho arthaya upakalpate na arthasya dharma ekantasya kamo labhaya hi smritaha. But if somehow or other you have got economic development, artha is there, do not utilize it for kama. So people, when they have money, when they have got richness, they utilize it for sense enjoyment, kama. So what is Bhagavatam saying? Do not utilize it for sense enjoyment. Kamo labhaya hi smritaha. And so I'll just read the translation. All occupational engagements are meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to the sages, one who is engaged in ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Dharma ekantasya means one who is engaged in ultimate dharma should not use his artha for sense enjoyment. And then further it says, Kamasya nendriya priti. Kama means life's desires. I have so many desires. Correct? That is called kama. They should not be utilized for sense enjoyment. Then for what? Kamasya nendriya priti. Labho jiveta yavata. Just to maintain the soul and the body together, life's desire can be utilized. So we have so many desires. So it should not be utilized for sense enjoyment, rather for self-maintenance, not for sense enjoyment. Then it says, Labho diveta yavata, because jivasya tattva jignasa nartho yas cheha karma bihi. Because life's only goal should be to inquire about absolute truth. So translation is, life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life. That means it is required. I have to satisfy certain desire. The body is there, soul is there. To maintain them together, I have to eat, I have to sleep. All those things are required. Or self-preservation. That is the meaning of self-preservation. Since a human being is meant to inquire about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. So this should be the goal of our work, should be jivasya tattva jignasa, that I should inquire about the absolute truth. And then finally, Prabhupada is explaining very nicely that this Bhagavatam, if you have to understand, so we understand that if we understand Bhagavatam, so much benefit is there, correct? So much benefit we are seeing if I can understand Bhagavatam. So then the question arises, how should I understand Bhagavatam? So Prabhupada explains, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Bhagavata Paragiya Bhagavata Sthane. If you want to understand Bhagavatam, you can understand it only through a person Bhagavatam. So there are two Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam and a person who has applied that knowledge in his life, who has realized Bhagavatam in his life. From him one should understand Bhagavatam. So this is the way to understand Bhagavatam. From a self-realized soul, one should understand Bhagavatam. And that is why we are able to appreciate so much about Srila Prabhupada's translations of Bhagavatam. Because he is such a realized soul. If we understand Bhagavatam through Srila Prabhupada's books, we will find it will bring about a change in our life. So how Bhagavatam should be understood? Bhagavatam should be understood from another Bhagavatam. Book Bhagavatam should be understood from person Bhagavatam. So I may be giving lecture, but whatever we are speaking is from Srila Prabhupada's books. He is a person Bhagavatam. From him we are understanding Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the way. And how should one understand what is the system of reading Bhagavatam? Prabhupada says it has to be read systematically. One should not rush through Bhagavatam. Just like when we have the darshan of the Lord, when we worship the Lord, first we worship the lotus feet of the Lord. Then slowly we move when we have darshan. First darshan is of the lotus feet. Then gradually we move upward. Finally we see the lotus face of the Lord. Bhagavatam similarly should be understood like this. First canto and second cantos are like the lotus feet of the Lord. Thoroughly we have to understand first canto and second canto. Then only slowly we should move up. One should not jump directly to 10th canto, where Krishna's personal pastimes are described. Then what will happen? Because you never understand position of the Lord, how will you understand the activities of the Lord? First you have to understand the position of the Lord. Otherwise you will think, what is this Rasa Leela? Krishna was having thousands of gopis. So what is wrong if I have 10 girlfriends? Correct? That is what people will think. If they directly take to 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam and if they read Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, they will compare like that. They will think like this. Because they do not understand the position of the Lord. They do not understand, is Krishna a normal human being like me and you? Are the gopis some ordinary girls like we find in this material world? Is the rasa dance an ordinary affair of a boy and a girl? What we see in this material world? So if you do not understand the position of Krishna, you cannot understand the personal activities of Krishna. You will fail to understand. It is just like you meet a stranger. First, you have to understand about him. Then he will reveal to you his confidential matters. To a stranger, nobody will reveal. When you are thickly related with him, then you can understand his confidential things in his life. Who are his children? What do they do? All those things. If you meet a big man, until and unless you are very closely related, why is going to tell you? Who is he? Who are his children? What do they do? What does he do in his house? All those things. Isn't it? So first of all, we have to understand who Krishna is, what is the position. So that is being explained here. Do not take Bhagavatam to be some ordinary literature. You read novel like that, we read Bhagavatam. No, Bhagavatam is same as Krishna. There is no difference. With lot of attention, with lot of respect, one should read Bhagavatam. You will derive so much of benefit. Okay, stop with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.